acting methods. What is the best acting method and how do I know what works best for me? Acting methods. So if you guys aren't familiar, if you guys don't know what I mean when I say acting methods or acting styles and acting methods are pretty much approaches and theories on acting, on what it is to express yourself through the medium of acting, right? And I don't even think I even like worded that correctly, but pretty much it's just styles of acting on how you approach. Let's start that over. Okay. All right, what is the best acting method and how do I know what works best for me? So what I mean by acting methods and acting styles is pretty much how you approach the craft of being an actor. And there's the popular, acting styles date back all the way to Shakespearean times and probably long before that. And I don't know the history of like longer than Shakespeare, let's be real. But more modern styles of acting include Stanislavski, Lee Strasberg, Meisner, who both Strasberg, Meisner, and Stella Adler, I think I didn't mention her, but they all studied under Stanislavski. There's Chekhov, Michael Chekhov, who also I think studied under Stanislavski, and I think he is also the nephew of Anton Chekhov, who's one of my favorite playwrights. But then there's also like Chubbuck. This is like more recent times, like Chubbuck, Uta Hagen. She was very popular in the 80s. I studied under someone in college who studied under Uta Hagen directly. And then of course there's also practical aesthetics, all of that great stuff. But so I say all and there's more out there. These are the main ones that come to mind, like the most popular ones. So what is the best acting method and how do you find what works best for you? So unfortunately, there's not a one-shot answer because every person is different. I have acting friends that are like, I can't resonate with Meisner. I don't get the hype about Meisner. And that's fine. They're more like method actors, you know? I love Meisner. I am a Meisner girl. I studied Meisner. I resonate most with the Meisner, which is more, so if you're not familiar with Stanford Meisner, the Meisner technique, it's more so just his process is living under imaginary circumstances, being yourself and living under imaginary circumstances, which is really what acting is, right? But that was his kind of slogan. So with Meisner, you kind of do just like repeat and like repetition exercises, and you just kind of like have to just be in the moment and just just kind of ping pong off of each other's energy and go from there. I know it. I can't articulate it, but I know it, if that makes sense. But it starts out with repetition, and then it kind of like builds from there until eventually you apply the repetition exercises into text. If you want to like a whole spiel about Meisner, just Google like Meisner. There's like some of his like OG like recordings of his classes on YouTube that I think you would really like. But yeah, long story short, I have friends who do not like Meisner. I personally, there's some aspects of method, which some actors who are very, famous for studying the method technique is like Lady Gaga and, rest in peace, the guy who played the Dark Knight, he played the Joker in the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger, rest his soul. Those are very, those are very popular when it comes to the method technique, and method gets a lot of criticism. I'm not getting into the details of like how each technique is like pros and cons, but method gets a lot of criticism because it's supposed to tap into like raw emotions, and a lot of method acting teachers have used like trauma even to get like a response and a reaction or a response out of actors. I'm not here to say what's good or bad. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an acting teacher. I just know what works best for me, and I study that. So there is no one-shot answer. You got to do trial and error. There's some things that I don't like about Strasberg. I don't really like about Chubbuck. I don't really like about, Stanislavski even. But at the same time, what the beauty is as an actor is like there is no wrong or right way to your art, to being an actor. You got to find what works best for you. And I have things that I've learned from Uta Hagen, from Stanislavski, from Chubbuck, from Meisner, like things that I have in my own little toolbox. And then you also have I have audition style and techniques that I've also bring into my toolbox as well. And I have like my own little lady method on how I approach a script and how I approach a character. But it took years and years of trial and error of getting like bits and pieces of each style of acting of each teacher. I read the Chubbuck book, I read the Uta Hagen book, I read the Adler book, I read all these books, and I've asked people, I've studied under people who studied these techniques or who are very, very immersed in these techniques. So long story short, to answer your question, there is no best style of acting. And I hate when there's like acting teachers out there who are like, oh, my technique is going to make sure you book these series regulars, and then they name drop, and then they're telling you like their technique is the only technique. It's almost like a cult even. But there is no one answer. There's no one size fits all. It just really depends on what resonates with you and what your style is and what your approach is. And I just ask that you keep an open mind, that you surrender to the process, and you allow yourself to learn different things and to be open-minded to all these different techniques. And just don't let one teacher, just because one teacher says something, that's like the end all be all in the Bible to your acting career, because it's not. And I let that kind of like, it halted me. Sorry, I'm getting a call. It halted my process to finding what works best for me. And because I was so, oh my goodness, sorry, it's Super Bowl Sunday, y'all, and my dad's calling me asking me where the wings are. He can wait. But don't let that, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's easy to get stuck in the authority figure, like the authority student dynamic. Don't let that get to you. Just take what your teachers say with a grain of salt. Don't let it be like your end all be all. This is how you approach acting every single time, every single day of the year, every single day of your acting career, because there is no one answer. Keep an open mind. Take what works with you, let go of what doesn't, and keep it moving, because there is no right answer. Acting is not perfect. Art is not perfect. You got to know what works best for you, and what works best for you will resonate with you, and it'll be something precious that you can't let anybody take away from you. But don't get stuck with just, oh, my teacher says Meisner's the end all be all, and it's the only way to approach it. Chill. You tell that teacher to chill, and that you're going to see what works for you, and then go from there. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, whatever. Keep searching. It's trial and error. Just keep studying and learning. So I hope this answers that question, and let me know what you guys think.